My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. This is the only channel dedicated to UFC picks and DraftKings lineups run by professional fighters and MMA insiders. Every week, I join Nick Newell, professional fighter, professional model, and ESPN Top 10 guest, along with Dan Kramer, UFC fighter, Bellator fighter, Ultimate Fighter alumni, and Jacob Lyons, a skinny kid from Indiana. And we break down every single fight, the betting odds, the DraftKings picks, and we set you up for success. Another great night of fights. That was a lot of fun. It was also partially a giant disaster. We had 2 fights canceled yesterday. One of them was canceled in the octagon. So as everybody knows, Skelly was standing in the octagon, ready to fight, and the fight was canceled. His opponent was having back spasms, never came out, fight was canceled. And that happens, right? That's not common. We saw a mid-card canceled fight last year. Historically, back in the day, Kevin Randleman had a title fight, was jumping up and down in the locker room, hit his head on some pipes, fight canceled. That was a main event. So these things can happen. We've seen it before. What's interesting now, though, and the disaster is DraftKings. We do DraftKings. We talk about DraftKings. We're here to give you DraftKings lineups. And I'll talk about how successful we were last night in a minute. But the issue is that fight was canceled. Your lineup is completely locked in, and you can't make any changes. They don't let me replace him with somebody else that hasn't fought yet on the card. They don't let you make any changes at all. It is completely locked in the minute the card kicks off. Even if you have somebody in the main event and you're 5 hours earlier than that, you still can't adjust your card. So that's a flaw. I think there's some reasonable solutions. I think there's some ways around that. I think there's some ways to fix that. We could talk about that in a separate video, but quickly, if the fight hasn't happened yet, I should be able to make changes, right? If somebody hasn't fought yet and there's the main event still to go, and I want to flop my main event pick and I still have enough budget to do so, why can't I? The fight hasn't started yet. The contest hasn't started yet. So hopefully what we saw tonight and we saw last year, hopefully enough people will complain and DraftKings will make some adjustments. We saw them earlier this year make adjustments in how scoring is done. They added some bonuses. They added riding time. They removed some other scoring. So it's still a work in progress. They're listening to people. They're making changes. And hopefully this will be one of those changes that they can make. Quickly, a lot of you reached out to me saying, this is crap. Can I get a refund and stuff like that from DraftKings? Last year when this happened, they did not issue refunds, but what they did do is they created a free contest to enter that had actual money prizes. So I think it was like $100,000 contest that they created, and everybody got a free entry ticket into that contest. So you can join and potentially win some real life money without having to spend money to join. So we'll see what they end up doing. You know, that is the inherent risk in all of this. If you were doing football DraftKings and, a player can't play after the game started for whatever reason, then it's same thing. So let's move on from that. We'll talk about that in a separate video. Comment down below what you think a reasonable solution would be for that. I imagine almost all of you had Skelly or Emmers in your lineup. Most of the league that I compete in had one of those fighters in their lineup, so it screwed it up for everybody. What I want to talk about now is the DraftKings league that we've created for you guys, for the fans, and what that looks like. So we've had quite a few people join this week. I think we had 10 people, 11 people join this week, which is a solid outing. And let's take a look at the winner. So Bach, the man, won this week. Let's look at his lineup very quickly. So congratulations, 54 points. And you had 2 people that barely scored any points at all. So that's a solid lineup. That worked out for you. You were not affected by the Skelly fight. But just some of your highlights here, you had Erosa and you had Spivak. So Spivak, we were all pretty high on. We saw that win coming. Erosa versus Landwehr, that was a pick'em fight. And great job with the Erosa pick, because a lot of people thought Landwehr was going to blow right through him. So great job with that pick. 130 points or 131 points in a 3-round fight is fantastic. You also went Derek Lewis in the main event. Very few people did that, and that worked out for you. So congrats on that. Obviously Aspinall scored a ton of points as well, but that was, everybody saw that coming. And then you went with Charles Rosa instead of Minor. I want to talk about Minor very quickly. That was our big underdog pick, and he showed up. He performed. He put a ton of points on the board. I think he was also in that 130 category. Great underdog pick. If you watch our breakdown videos, we really talked about the wrestling being the difference. So on this channel, it is myself, a couple of pro fighters, and then a friend of ours. Nick Newell trained with Charles Rosa, said he's excellent. He's slick. His jiu-jitsu is fantastic. But I think Minor's wrestling is going to be the difference. And that's exactly what this was. And, you know, that's the benefit of having some of these guys to get advice from, people with literal firsthand, I trained with that person type knowledge. So great job, Bach the man. If you flipped that Rosa pick, you would have had an incredible lineup here. Obviously, Olenek was the underdog, so you wouldn't have been able to afford Dawkins. Quickly, we'll look at Cans Finn's Nut. You have a solid lineup also. Yours arguably is a better lineup. You were just affected by the Chaz Skelly drop because you had 4 people score over 90 points. Let's say you only had a 5-person lineup. 4 of your 5 scored over 90 points. And your main eventer, you went with Curtis Blaydes, which is not a bad pick. Nobody saw, not nobody, but, you know, everybody had Curtis Blaydes winning for the most part. Everybody knew the knockout was a risk anytime you have Derek Lewis, but we really didn't anticipate what was going to happen happening. So you had a killer lineup. And if that Chaz Skelly fight didn't drop, you probably would have won this league. So thank you everybody for joining. BJJ Post Malone, E-Star 223, King Larry, RU18QT, RU18Cutie. Nice. GD Urzo, B Burris, myself. I don't actually enter this. I create it, but I don't enter it. JT Lines and LeBrier, you guys forgot to publish your lineups. But anyway, thank you everybody for joining. As this catches a little steam, so we're growing here. We have 11 people in this. As we get a little more steam, maybe 20, 15, 20, something like that, we're going to start sending out DraftKings gift cards to the winners. All right. So keep joining, tell people to join. And then once you start winning this league and we have a few more people in there, we'll mail you an actual for real US dollars DraftKings gift card. So let's talk about the main event very quickly. That was nuts. That was nuts. Obviously, everybody knew Derek Lewis could have knocked out Curtis Blaydes. We all knew it. What was surprising to me is Curtis Blaydes not wrestling. He's very open about, I'm going to wrestle. I don't care if you think it's boring. That's what I am going to do. I don't care. I'll be boring. It doesn't matter to me. I'm trying to win. And he didn't. So I don't know what was different this week. I don't know if he felt really confident in his hands and really thought he could do it. He looked pretty good early on. He was chopping Derek Lewis's leg out, and he should have stuck with those leg kicks because they were definitely affecting Derek Lewis. And I thought he was going to stop him with those leg kicks, but he sort of abandoned the leg kicks and he just traded with him. Obviously, when he finally went to wrestle, he caught that big uppercut. So it's hard to say if he tried to wrestle earlier, would he have been caught earlier? But either way, I think Curtis Blaydes' game plan was the surprising one, right? Derek Lewis, there was nothing surprising about what he did. He circled, he waited, he threw bombs when he had the chance, and then he got the big one. I thought Curtis Blaydes would be more wrestle heavy. I thought he would close that distance, and I think we all did. So I don't know why he didn't. I don't know if he was hoping to prove a point or if part of his game plan was, you know, confuse Derek, throw Derek off. I don't know. Great fight, a ton of fun. We didn't get one of those crazy Derek Lewis post-fight interviews, but I'm sure he's had a stressful week with everything that's happened in Texas. But great fight, ton of fun. Now let's touch on our favorite comments of the week. So we had a few good ones. Let's start with Chris Jory. Chris Jory said, damn, that Emmers Skelly is BS. I can't believe they didn't give us anything for that. It screwed my whole lineup. That's a first. A fighter with a Charlie horse in the back. Unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. That sucked. Charlie horse in the back's pretty funny comment. That sucked. It is what it is. We talked about that earlier. Nothing we can do about that. Stephen Larry, our buddy. Stephen Larry said, I love all the name bloopers. You guys got to give Jacob a break. So he's talking about in our graphics, in our breakdown videos, Jacob does those graphics. And Jacob had a few spelling errors. And because I'm basically Ron Burgundy, I'm just reading whatever's on the screen, spelling errors and all. So we had a little bit of fun with that. Thanks for the watch and the comment, Stephen. And then Ishmael, who's commented on a few videos historically. Thank you for all the contributions. You had a bunch of good picks this week. You grabbed O'Neal, which Casey O'Neal scored a ton of points in DraftKings, 130, I believe. You said Hawes by TKO decision. That got dicey. So he won that decision, but oh my God, was he on ice skates? That got a little hairy towards the end there. And we'll see in his next matchup. I don't know if I'm going to draft him again or pick him again, but we'll see when his next fight is announced. And then you also said Dawkins via first round TKO. Another great pick. We saw that coming as well. Dawkins is looking legit. We'll see. Dan and I had some off-camera conversations, and his thoughts were, yeah, Dawkins looked good against a 43-year-old man who doesn't know how to strike. And, you know, we won't really know how good he is until he fights somebody a little more well-rounded. And then finally, Jonathan Gonzalez, Miners got this. And you are 100% correct. That was the underdog pick of the week. He absolutely went out there, dominated top to bottom, start to finish. And if you do DraftKings with us, he scored a ton of points. So very quickly, the last couple things I want to touch on is Jared Vanderaa. So big underdog, 2-1 underdog. We all picked him to lose. We thought he was going to lose. He was supposed to lose, and he did lose. But a little bit of credit to Jacob when he came out here and said, Jared will be the dud of the week. He will score less than 10 points in DraftKings. And that was about as accurate as you can get. He scored 8 points. So nice job, Jacob. Super specific. Nailed it on the head. So thank you, everybody, for the watch. Comment down below. We want to know your thoughts, too. We're going to start adding some more betting-specific videos. So starting next week, with this upcoming fight night card, we're going to add a video dedicated to our bets. Each one of us will have a budget to work with, and where are we going to spend that money on which fighters, which prop bets, which parlays, how are we going to spend our money to maximize it. So stay tuned for more videos like that, and comment down below with your picks, what you thought was surprising, what went really well, but also what else you want to see from us. If there is advice that you want that we're not giving, or there's a format that you want to see that we don't do yet, let us know. We've only been doing this for about a month. We're growing like crazy. The fan interaction is fantastic, and we're really enjoying what we do, and we want to make sure we're doing what you want to see. So thanks for everything. We'll see you next week. Before you go, check out the description below. In there, we have links to our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram, and more importantly, to our DraftKings League. Check out the league, join the league, participate in the contests, and as we get going and as you start winning, we're going to start handing out gift cards and participating and doing things like that. So check those out. Every week, there are drops on every fight card. So make sure you check out this channel and our social media on Saturday before the fights start so that you have our most updated lineups and picks.